And we are recording. Hi, Marco. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, you're so welcome to Ljósvarpið. I'm not going to say a lot. I just wanted to tell people how I perceive you. I haven't known you for a long time. I just met you in March and online, and I just became fascinated by the way you present your art and how you present the divinity through your art and through your messages. You are a very skilled artist, a photographer, and you compose beautiful music, and beauty is everywhere. And I would love to hear your story, how you came to the art, how music came through you, and about your journey. If you can start whatever, from your youth, or yeah.
Okay. My earliest memories on my Earth experience goes back to when I was about almost 3 years old, and at that time I remember I felt the contraction of the planet, of the human collective. I felt the pain, I felt the fear, and also felt the beauty and the love and everything.
Mhm.
So and those feelings were quite profound. It would take my breath away, and so in order to, I felt when I was, let's say, experiencing these emotions, I felt the need to express them, and music was the first thing that would come, and then other also ways came through. But music was coming also in order to have a conversation with my environment, in order to try to support. So, for example, I would say the my family having struggling, or being in a contractive interaction, fighting or whatever, like all families. It was nothing particularly dramatic, but they had a lot of pain, like all of us. They carry the collective pain, so they had a lot of fear, a lot of programs. And so at that age, I could not really speak so much. I was too much. I have too little information in order to provide a conversation at the speaking level. But with sound, I had the whole world. And so I would go towards whatever was available in that moment, and I would start to play some notes, or do some sounds, mostly melodies, as a way to deliver a message, to say we are all love, everything is fine, we can relax, we can let it go, so those experiences never left me. I realized at that time that there was a big contraction in this experience, in this operating system where we are right now, in this costume, and so from that moment I I felt naturally to go into the artistic expressions in order to deliver messages of beauty, of love, of um, of union, of oneness. And so this started unconsciously. I wasn't. If you would ask me at the time, I probably wouldn't be able to explain to you why I was doing. I would say this is
Yeah.
love. That's what I would say. But eventually, as the years went by, my approach became more complex, more enriched by the fact that I was spending most of my time creating, and also when you create, the creative process, when has an intent that is innocent and is pure, it
Mhm.
allows you to have a conversation with a version of yourself that has a higher level of consciousness, because we are multidimensional beings, and so we are simultaneously expressing ourselves in different situations, including our so-called family, soul family, and then oversoul, and then we go up to the prime creator and so on. It's all
Mhm.
us, basically,
Yeah.
from different level of appreciations.
Yeah.
And so when the artist, which I mean whoever is um, approaching a creative process, and this is a creative process. This is all a creative process where we are
Yeah.
living.
Yeah.
When the artist approach the creative process, if he managed to maintain a 100% innocence, meaning the ego is not involved in the process, so there is no a hidden agenda or a need or an expectation or uh, attachment to specific result or outcomes, a need of validation, need of recognition, and for many need to become famous or to become or to accumulate wealth. If all that is outside, it's not in the formula, then the artist has the privilege and the orgasmic, wonderful opportunity to connect with through the imagination and through the heart to the non-physical world, and has access to infinite amount of informations. And so what he does eventually, in that if he maintain the purity, he is able to crystallize, to manifest, to allow informations that are non-physical into this physicality. And when that is achieved, then he's doing has transformational power,
Mhm.
meaning he
Yes.
has the ability to somehow be of support. Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
So that is how I operate. I have no whatsoever need for anything when I create. The only thing I have is the joy of putting together information at whatever level I'm guided to, and I
Mhm.
have different tools that I choose from,
Mhm.
only with the purpose of knowing myself more, becoming more what I'm already am,
Mhm.
and as an extra bonus, sharing with whoever feel a resonance with, so that they can also benefit from it.
Yeah.
So this was operating first of all through music, and then using keyboards or using anything that would make sounds, and also through my voice,
Mhm.
um, in terms of creating melodies and creating harmonies. Um, and then eventually, as I move forward into the journey, I started also to take pictures. When I was little, I would paint a little bit, but then I got really very interested in photography. And then just recently, about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I really felt guided from above to start to speak, to add the word,
Yeah. And write.
right? Speak
Yeah.
and using words, whether it's writing or speaking.
Hmm.
At first, I was a little bit surprised because I was aware of how much infected languages are with deceiving meaning, and so you know that when you use the words, you engage a lot of ego. The ego can
Yes.
really, um, while with music, ego cannot do much. If the music is
Hmm.
pure, there's really not so much. Either you like it, you absorb it, or you reject it, but you cannot create narratives. But when you start to
Yeah.
lower your frequency, start to express yourself through words, then we have seen how many narratives out of Jesus have been created. Just to give you an example,
Yeah.
there are so many different versions of Jesus. So I was at first I was surprised of this request that was coming from from the boss above. But then I say yes, okay, sure, let's do it, because if you would have talked to me about what 5-6 years ago, I wouldn't have said much. I would have said, listen to the music and figure out yourself.
Yeah.
But then okay, I got this invitation and I say yes to it. And that was very interesting, because the moment I say yes to it, I started to receive questions from many situations. I had questions before too. People wanted to talk to me, but
Hmm.
the interaction would be limited, and then I would shift into music. But since I say yes to the words as a way also to be supportive, I started to receive massive amount of requests of interview like this one we are doing right now, or like people that ask me questions, and then I would create videos to respond. And that created a wonderful journey for me, because as I just wrote in a post that I think I posted recently on Facebook, I I am very grateful to all those that ask me questions, because in the effort of finding an answer, I always find out new informations that are available for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. You explore.
Because if I have a question, like the same process as when I do music, the question I have to position myself in a very neutral, innocent, pure, um, vibrational offer.
Hmm.
And that way, the question goes straight to higher level of consciousness, and then the ego is not involved, so I can hear the answers, and then I
Hmm.
can formulate the answer to the one that asked me the question. And that
Yeah.
always surprises me first. So I'm the first to benefit from giving an answer to somebody that asks me a question.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is not just me. This is a information. This way to access to this information is accessible to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
The difference
Absolutely.
is between me and someone that doesn't do that is because temporarily he doesn't believe that that's possible. He doesn't believe that the information he wants to ask is inside himself. And so
Hmm.
he asks me or you or somebody else. And then we have to do exactly what he can do, basically. We just have to
Hmm.
clear up the space, connect to source, and receive the answer, and then propose the answer. But he can do it too. It's not that we are
Exactly.
few elected that are special. We are all special. you know
Yeah. Yeah. We
so
can
that's
all. Yeah.
fascinating.
Exactly. We can all
So and
access
when
that inner knowledge. Hmm.
Yes, yes. And so as
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
as I move forward, I start to combine images with words, with sounds, with music, and I'm enjoying the dance. It's a lot of fun,
Hmm.
and so that's what I do. And again, it's the formula is always the same for whatever you choose to do, is to follow your joy by taking action, because if you don't take action, nothing happens,
Hmm.
and then with zero expectations.
Yes.
Once you follow that formula, of course, then the mystery of life can really come through you and can be expressed. And then your life is a life of wonder, and it's a life of daring. And of course, you speed up your evolutionary pattern, because when you dare into the unknown by with an intent of creating something, uh, the first thing that happens is you have to face everything that is within your container that is an obstacle between what you want to create and what you are. So let's say
Yes.
I want to sing on stage. It's a beautiful intent, and but if I'm afraid of being in front of people, the first thing they will come and say, hey, you have to look at this if you want to get there. If you want
Yeah.
to go from A to Z, you have to look at all this stuff. And so
Yeah.
every time we choose a creative process, we have to face all our limited beliefs or ideas that we adopted that are not in integrity with our true essence.
Yeah.
And so that's why the creative process is the process that is mostly transformational,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And
I
also,
say also that oh, I'm not just going to say the voice, when you start using the voice as well, it's also a big icebreaker
oh yeah,
in discovering exactly the limitations you have, the programming you have, the beliefs you have, and it's a great tool. And I wanted to ask you because I know you went through a journey. I would say maybe in the matrix. You met a lot of. You've sung for many people. You sang as a young man a lot, didn't you? And traveled with concerts and so on. You lived in the States?
yes. When at a certain point I left Italy because I felt a call to go to America.
Mhm.
Um, and I lived in America for about 22 years, and uh, I didn't know anyone, and I didn't have any money when I went to, and I didn't even speak English. So I really started from scratch, and I have this desire to produce music, and of course, to produce music at the level that I wanted, I needed some money,
Mm.
and I rather than getting a regular job, which I never done in my life, so I started to sing. I started to sing first in the street, and then in small, tiny cafes, and then from there in the smaller restaurants. And after a few years of doing that, um, mm, because I was singing about 5, 6 hours a day at that point, in order to make the necessary money to cover the expenses and even go in a recording studio and do whatever I needed to do at that moment. Um, my voice started to become a more refined instrument.
Mhm.
Before I did this job, I would use my voice just to compose,
Mhm.
just to sing melodies in the creative process. So I would start to sing. At first, I was singing Italian song in Italian restaurants. Then I started to learn more, a bigger repertoire. And after a few years, I have like 700, 800 songs that I knew, and
Wow.
I was able to sing in English, in French, in Portuguese, in Spanish, in Italian, and I had all this incredible, beautiful library that would go from the classical Italian song to all the Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin song, to the Beatles, to the adult contemporary, to the Latin music, to the classical Portuguese bossa novas. I would have a wide range of songs, because the wider the range, the more job I would get.
Yeah.
I will be able to cover, because Los Angeles, like many other huge cities, is international. There's so many different cultures. And what happened at a certain point, I started to blend all these genres.
Mhm.
So that created an impact on the audience, because there were not so many that were able to create such an international blend, a cocktail of famous songs in that way. And also, my approach was always very spiritual, so I wouldn't go on a gig like all the musician, from A to Z. Then I take a break, and then I play another 10 songs, and then I go to another one, and that's it. That's it. I would just sit down, I would connect, and I would hear the voice. Okay, Unforgettable. This is the moment you sing Unforgettable, and I would sing Unforgettable. And then I said the second, okay, now sing a song by Sting, and I would sing a song. I would be literally guided, and so somehow that would create such a nice flow.
Yes.
And the people that would hire me would gain more and more confidence in my ability to create a successful party. And because these people were quite anxious, because when they throw these parties, at a certain point, I got parties that cost $1 million, $5 million parties. I mean, we were talking about big numbers. So they had a lot of expectations, because for them, this party were political. They were a matter of their image was on the plate, and so they felt more and more confident to have Marco in their party rather than a jazz band or a blues band or R&B band. They were fantastic musicians, and I wasn't certainly better than them. It's just I had a different style, more classy, and also my voice at that point was able to really cover all the standards, no matter what. So that's how I started to sing, and for 20 years, after the first 5-6 years were quite challenging and difficult, and then I shifted, and then I started to be one of the most paid non-famous singer in the American scene,
Wow. Yeah.
So I would go in houses of Hollywood celebrities. I would go in houses of royalties, of ministers, of big producer, big super famous people, just to sing for their weddings or for their Christmas party or for their birthdays or whatever they do. They are quite quite interesting people. So when they do things, it's so that's how I provide all the money that allow me to then produce. I produce about 10 or 15 albums of original music, which now I have it and I can use it for support, because it's music that it goes very deep into the emotions. And that's exactly what is needed right now to address our blocked emotions, so that we can let it out. It's not music for everybody or to listen every moment, because many people cannot support that kind of frequencies. In fact, for example, I did different concerts with orchestras, and I could see that many people in the audience, and also musicians too, were they had challenges, because they were going deeper into something that they were not comfortable to either to see or to accept or to deal with. And so many people would just leave the concert, and some people would stay. And then at the end of the concert, everybody would be crying, hugging each other, and it would be a whole interesting release that would provoke this music.
Yeah.
So
I can certainly relate to everything that you're saying, because I've been doing the same that you were expressing with. As a classical singer, we are very much in the box. There's a very strict form around the classical way, and for me to not giving the audience any programs and doing exactly what you did or you do is to just channel what's next. What do my audience need at this moment?
Exactly.
And instead of them, looking in the programs and reading every word, it's about being there, being present, and open up their hearts and allow the tones to to open their defenses and, like you say, cry. Or but I've also experienced exactly this. They love it, but they take a step back because it is maybe too much
It
sometimes.
is. It is too much.
Hmm.
Yes, it is. It is very challenging. But that is the difference between an artist and an entertainer.
Hmm.
There's nothing wrong with an entertainer. It's just the
No.
entertainer um, is he has an agenda. He wants to entertain, so he wants to. Um, he has a specific outcome in his mind, and
Mm.
most of the time is about him being clapped. Is about him
Hmm.
uh, being impactful in a way that people have fun, and it's beautiful. There's nothing wrong. The
No, no.
artist, sit down or whatever is about to do. The question is, okay, how can I support this
Hmm.
situation? How can I
Yeah.
create an emotion that can be supportive? That
Hmm.
is the
Hmm.
question of usually the true artist, the one that
Yes.
really is doing something not because the game of the matrix, but because
Hmm.
a sense of responsibility towards the purpose that is set up when he incarnate in this experience. So it's much
Yes.
more conscious because
Yes.
you know I've been in front of multi-million contracts from record companies and other situation, and I felt really immediately my whole cellular structure said this is not what you need to do right now,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
So the beautiful thing about the artist is that in a way is aware of the purpose that he came free, while the entertainer is more lost in his mind and he care about the outcome. The artist is more about staying in integrity with the true purpose where he came from. And also, when I use
Hmm.
the word artist, I don't limit the meaning of this word to the fine artistic.
Hmm.
You can be anything and be an artist. Heart is when
Artist,
you
that's a
use,
good one.
yeah, when you use the heart, so you can be a
Yeah.
dentist, you can be somebody that can sell shoes and be very supportive and very impactful with your
Of
using your
course.
imagination.
Of course. I mean, you are an instrument, actually, basically, or a servant. I say also when I go on stage that my ego, which is a good helper in structuring and learning stuff and so on, steps outside, and then I let go and just listen to the soul flow that comes through me. So, and that's the basic thing, is to get into connection with
Yeah,
source.
it takes a quite a level of consciousness, because it mean once you have that predisposition, it means that you don't need any more confirmations, validation from the outside world. So it's completely meaningless if you are liked or you are appreciated. If you're
Hmm.
appreciated, you enjoy, thank you, but it's not
Yes,
about
yes.
that. And so when it's
No.
not about that, then you are free to really, really put yourself on an active surface.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I'm just amazed that you could also keep this pure sense of being through all of this, what you went through, and with all these celebrities, and not be tempted by falling into that world, that you have always kept yourself so pure. So
Yeah, it was for me it was very easy because I never actually that probably one of the reasons why I was able to pass through those doors,
mhm,
because I had nothing to lose.
mhm,
So I would go inside the scene and I would it doesn't matter if you are the Pope or you are the cleaning lady. I would just converse with you at the same level. So I would
yes,
break through all these layers of hierarchy,
Yeah.
And somehow that allowed me to be more myself, rather than feeling inferior to the biggest celebrity, or the big king or princess or whatever is in front of my eyes. I do see a soul that is playing an interesting role, and I would say, okay, how are you, princess,
Mhm.
today? You look beautiful, but I wouldn't be overwhelmed by
Yeah.
embarrassment and fear, and so that in a way was a way for me to to open those doors without
Mhm.
any, almost effortlessly.
Mhm. Yeah.
It was just automatic. I didn't even meant to do it. It just happened.
A natural
Yeah.
evolvement. What about, I mean, many of us uh, who are there feel sometimes a little bit alien, feel sometimes out of sorts. I don't know if you've experienced that in your family and your surroundings, that you were different, that you, because of your sensitivity and your connection to the source, because
Yeah, I will realize. I did realize at a certain point that first of all, not everyone in this planet have a soul.
Mhm,
I started to realize that.
mhm,
That doesn't mean that they are not important and they don't have an important role,
mhm,
but they are playing. It's like a movie. When you watch a movie, there are the main character,
mhm.
that are creating the narrative, and then there is background. On the background, there are extras, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that when you look at them, they are there. Then you don't look at them, they are gone. And then you look at them and they come back. So those are holograms, basically, that the matrix creates in order to support the scene.
Yeah.
Um, and if you go closer to them and you start to ask questions, usually these holograms uh, activate a program, because they have an intelligent artificial intelligence series of program within themselves. So they activate a program so that they can respond to you to certain basic questions.
Mhm,
But and then
mhm.
if you go deeper, they might activate a more sophisticated program so that they can properly respond. But at a certain point, when you start to go a little bit deeper, you can see that they get completely lost.
Mhm, mhm,
They
mhm.
don't. They don't. They are. They don't. They don't respond.
So
So yeah. Go
you would
ahead.
say that these hologram personalities or whatever they are here for a reason, then,
Oh,
to
absolutely. Yes.
yes,
The reason
to
is to provide the scenography, to provide the. Um, it's like when you watch a movie. There is a background so that you
Mhm,
can see the scene. You can see. Uh, and these holographic projection are created by the matrix in order also to in a way influence your or have a specific beliefs or certain specific ideas of what the collective is about and what the experience is about.
mhm,
That's why I never decide what is, let's say, real for me, or what is important for me based on how the masses decide.
mhm, mhm, exactly.
Because that's artificial intelligence that wanted to influence me.
Yes.
And so actually, when I see the masses that push towards one direction, is that's the moment where I start to have some doubts, and I'm going to make some researches, because most of the time is deceiving.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah.
So they are playing a role of a mirror, an inverted mirror, so that
Mhm.
we can develop our ability to discernment.
Yeah.
So interesting is that uh, these holographic projections, this empty shell, if you give them love, what happens is that you activate in them a degree of vibrancy
Mm-hmm.
that might capture the attention of some soul that wants to come in.
Ah, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and so they a soul say, wow, that's a beautiful empty container. I want to go inside so I can do this and this and this. And so we, with our love and
Mm-hmm.
our unconditional love, with our attention, positive attention, we might prepare this container so that a soul can come in, and then he can come toward and on this side of the game.
Yes.
Then he
Yeah.
become a main character too.
Yes.
You know, so
Yeah.
that's why it's always never be unrespectful, or never give less than love to whatever circumstance, and never judge that are inferior or bad or good. Everything is love. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's that's a given, but love
Yes.
has different degrees of expressions, and different degrees of creativity. So
Mm-hmm.
that's so when I find myself in front of someone that it feels really like almost a robot or a zombie,
Mm-hmm.
I still nurture him with love, and I still feed him with my best of vibrational offer, and I appreciate it for the work that he's doing and for the roles that he's playing.
Yes. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's also how I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you see that if you connect that to what's going on in the world right now? There is a big division going on.
Yeah. The division, it has been always a division. It's just now it's coming really to surface. Before, the division was underneath, was operating at the subconscious level, and now it's
Mm-hmm.
coming to surface.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful because it means that we are getting to a turning point where we are starting to move forwards to more exciting adventures.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it. I see it beautiful. Of course, it's going to be challenging for all of us because um, we will have to shift our perception of what love is. Because until now, in the last 10,000 years, with the separation that was created by the inverted matrix, we adopted a love that is heavy, a
Mm-hmm.
love that is conditional, that is needy, a love
Mm-hmm.
that wants to take caretaker, want to take care, will save other people.
Yeah.
You know, so we are validating and sponsoring the idea of victim and savior with our
Yeah.
heavy love. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and that needs to be let go now.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to go to a love that is more is non-judgmental, is a
Mm-hmm.
love that
Mm-hmm.
frees you. So until now, when we say I love you, we say I need you. I need you to be in a certain way. I'm worried about you. I need you to be safe. I need you to, and there's all this neediness and this, and it's a beautiful experience. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
However, now is the time for us to upgrade to our love. That when we say I love you, we mean you are free to make whatever choice you need to make. And so if you are still working on the lower frequencies, I love you.
Yes.
Continue, please continue the
Mm-hmm.
experience in the lower frequencies. I don't
Yeah.
need you to change so that I can feel better about myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, so
Yes.
go and go in the lower frequencies, the higher frequency, whatever frequency you choose, because at the end of the road, no matter which frequencies you choose, we will all meet there
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where there is only love. Because behind this game, there is only love. So no matter which road you choose, the road of suffering or the road of joy or something in between,
Yeah.
we are going to the same destination and getting all together at a certain point back to source.
Yes. So
So
the focus. Yeah. 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 Go ahead.
once you become aware of this,
Mm-hmm.
then it's still going to be hard, but you will be able to copy in a more impactful and less dramatic way uh, in front of what is happening right now, which is a dramatic split between the two ramifications between the people that the soul that will continue their journey in the lower frequencies, and then eventually will have to evacuate this planet because this planet is raising the frequencies, and so they will have to continue their work somewhere else. And the other one that actually will stay and will continue the evolution by staying in this physicality.
Yes.
So once we adopt this lighter sense of love, then we will be able to be, first of all, not to be caught up, sucked by the drama of the tsunami, and also we'll be able to be more supportive, because we will be less engaged with the lower emotions, and so more able to really be effective in our work as a support.
Yes, we will take full responsibility for ourselves and step out of the victim consciousness, really.
Yes. So there are
Yes.
situations that are very, very, very intense right now. A mother and a son, or two brothers, or who knows, maybe two lovers, and that they found themselves at the turning point. Okay, I have to go left, and you have to go right. Okay, it's time to say goodbye for now. And that's going to be hard.
Or yes. Also, what I find also, because a lot of us are experiencing this division in our families, with friends. Many of us have lost a lot of friends, and so on. It is also, when you love someone, if you notice that you are in a different place, let's say, it's to meet the person that you love where they are, and just keep loving them. It's the only way forward, I see.
Yes, yes, and we will have to let go, let go, let go. That's what it's all about. It's about letting go. This
Yeah.
inverted matrix, which we are somehow still living, it's already collapsed uh, for a while now, but we keep it alive by validating it, because we don't want to let go of the past.
Yes. Yeah.
And so the magic keeps validating itself with our attention, with our consent, but the building is already collapsed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that brings me to the movement that I wanted to ask you about, your experience with OPPT, the One People's Public Trust. If you would like to tell us a little bit about how you discovered that, and how you're living that today.
Yes. Well, I was aware of the OPPT already when it was conceived by those three lawyers in America. I was, let's say, in the same circle of friends there, where also the three lawyers that created the OPPT were involved with. And so I was aware at the time of them, although I barely talked to them, but we were in the same circle. But at the time, I didn't feel the resonance to the point to take action about it. But it was a seed within myself, and I was aware of it. And I felt it's not the time, but it will come the time where I will address this, because it's interesting. And then I don't know how many years later, it was 2013. So maybe 7-8 years later, I was last year in the first lockdown. I was in Hawaii writing a book. And in that lockdown, of course, I started to support a lot of people via Zoom or Skype, because there was a lot of panic, a lot of concern, a lot of fear, particularly in Italy. And so I was spending many hours during the day in Hawaii, when I would take break from writing what I was writing, I would spend hours talking to people friends, family, but also people that just needed my somehow to have a conversation with someone.
Mhm.
And in that time, I also reconnected with Barbara Banco, with Barbara,
Yeah.
which I knew her, I think 5 or 6 years earlier. And at that time already, I think we addressed the idea of the OPPT, but it didn't go any further than having just a conversation. But this time, when I talked to Barbara on Skype, we felt the joy to get together again. And so we did, because a few months later, I came back in Italy and I met with Barbara. We talked about the OPPT. We felt she was already working on the OPPT.
Okay.
And I felt, we both felt a strong resonance. So I said to Barbara, let's wait, give me a couple of months and I will create this website.
Yeah.
And so I took 2 or 3 months to design, to add the pictures and all that. And then from there, the website noieiosono.com was born.
Mhm.
And then I produced some videos where Barbara is talking, I am talking, we are both talking. We cover the foundation of the OPPT on a video, and then I put them on YouTube. And then from there, we started to get quite a considerable amount of responses, to the point that then we started to go from town to town, invited to speak about the OPPT. And Barbara was naturally navigating towards addressing the legal point. I
Yeah.
mean, she's as spiritual as I am, but her
Mhm.
forte is talking about documents and talking about
Mhm.
the whole the dynamic of the legal situation. And I was
Mhm.
more like holding the space. And then uh, when I felt there was something that I have to talk to share about consciousness, then I would step into the conversation, and that seems like to create a nice harmony in the sharing, and
Yes.
people seems to appreciate it very much. And so
It's
that's how
really,
I got involved with the OPPT.
yes, and it's very strong. It's moving and growing very, very strongly these
Yes.
days. Could you maybe tell us a little bit about what it is about, this movement?
Okay, the OPPT is basically, in my perception, the OPPT it's a facilitator. It's a series of documents that are very high conscious. They are very spiritual, and can facilitate the self empowerment of in our journey, because they address each of us as eternal essence, which means
Mhm.
that all of us, we are source
Mhm.
in a beautiful diversity. And so these documents can be a trigger for us to um, support us, help us to remember who we are.
Mhm. Mhm.
On the legal point of view, the documents also powerfully engage with the authority and the system, in order to draw a line and support the fact that we are sovereign and we are not um, a fictitious number or
Mhm.
merchandise as the
Yes.
system want us to be.
Yes.
So the system created this narrative where we are a number, we are lost in the sea. It's quite a long conversation, but it's
Mhm. Mhm.
from my point of view. Again, I don't sponsor. I never sponsor the idea of victim. We just consented to embrace a narrative of fragmentation and separation, so that we had an amazing experience.
Yeah.
So these bad people are just beautiful souls that interpret a role, a very difficult role, to create that kind of contrast and separation that allow us to learn so many lessons,
Mhm.
um, And now it seems like we are at the end of this. We don't need, it's enough. We learned what we needed to learn is learned. We had the experience, and so now we are going back to the original blueprint of what it means to be humans. We are going back to the original operating system. And so the OPPT documents is not the only way, but it's a really powerful way to support this transition that we all have to pass through.
Yes, yes. And that the system has already crumbled.
Yes, the system already crumbled. The system crumbled exactly when those three lawyers in 2013, 12, 13, and that was exactly what the Maya predicted. Maya in 2012 says it's going to be the end of the world. And it was, because when those documents were sent to the 195 or some countries in the planet, which are the leaders, yes, that will trigger officially a complete liberation from the Luciferian matrix. So the Mayas were right. It's just that we didn't realize that because we were continuing to play the part, and so the narrative was keeping perpetuating itself. And it took another 7-8 years to these days. We start to see something that is already done, but we are still again sponsoring it with our consent, with our fear, with our not wanting to let go.
Yeah. We're holding tight to the old.
Yes, and this is also understandable. I mean, imagine a person that has been 40 years in jail, and all of a sudden you tell, okay, the door is open, you can go out. Of course, he's going to hold on the jail. He doesn't want to let go because it's scary. Just the thought that there is a door, already will take some time to understand it, right?
Yes, to go into the unknown, and also to have to unlearn and deprogram everything that you thought was real.
Exactly.
Is tough on many people.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And so how do you perceive the future, or what's coming?
Well, we are going back to embrace fully the creative process, because we are creators. We have been how can I say it? We are it's like we go back to the idea of the ocean, because it's a good way to explain. The ocean is the ocean, but it doesn't know. It doesn't know that it is the ocean. And so in order to have an experience of itself, it creates drops. Once the ocean becomes drops, it's still the ocean, right? But now, as a drop, is a creative process. Is unique, because there is no one drop that is identical to the other, and each drop is going through a creative process. And so source, the ocean, wants the drop to be creators, because every time a drop creates something, the ocean understands, feel what he or he is. So that's the dynamic. So we are all eternal essence, like OPPT says. So we are all source, but we are we've been not separated, but fragmented from source, in order to be able to create experiences. Because when you are source, there is no experience. There is all that is, but there is no experience. So you have to fragment yourself in order to have an experience. So we are here to experience life through a creative process. Now, in these last 10,000 years, we embrace an amazing journey where we create the illusion that we are not creators. We create the illusion that we are just obedient citizen that have to follow a fixed curriculum. And that gave us a lot of amazing insights, a lot of amazing wisdom. But now, when you speak about the future, basically we are going back to full creativity. We are going back to be the creator that we really are. So all the buttons in our costume will turn on because they've been off for all this time. And all this this costume that we have, which is this body, this operating system, is an amazing vehicle for us as a creator to create. And so what is going to happen is we are going to go back to the original operating system, which means that our perception of life is going to be quite an amazing spectrum. Again, it's like if you for 10,000 years have been driving a Ferrari, but only with the first gear, right? So you can go only 30 miles per hour, and you have a Ferrari. Now the Ferrari is opening up, turning on all the buttons, and now we can go 350 miles per hour.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So that's what is going to happen for those that are ready for the experience, because not everybody are ready, and not everybody are interested in that experience at this moment.
That's true. That's true.
Because you can see a lot of people that you talk to them about how to get better, how to evolve, and they don't want to hear. They just want to keep watching TV. They want to go and do their job. Because that's what they sign up. They sign up for the ride. They didn't sign up for the evolution. It's like if you go to a roller coaster, you just want to enjoy the roller coaster. But if I say, hey, we can evolve the roller coaster, you say, I don't care about the roller. I just want to have the ride and then keep going somewhere else.
Yes.
Right? So
stay in this safe comfort zone.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we are going to create a new earth. Of that, I am in no doubt. And going back to nature and to ourselves.
Absolutely. And also nature is upgrading. Everything is upgrading. This is the fascinating situation. From when we left the original operating system, has been 10,000 years. In these 10,000 years, because everything evolved constantly, the operating system where we left is being upgraded.
Yeah.
So now we go back to something, but with extra bonus, because now we have an operating system that has never been used before. To give you an example, before the matrix, the inverted matrix was implemented, we were at the original operating system, which was designed to give us a physical experience up to the 9th dimension. So if the soul that was embracing that curriculum would choose so, it could stay in the physicality up to the 9th dimension level of consciousness. Now that has been upgraded up to the 12th dimension consciousness. That means that when we go back to be humans as we were meant to, if we choose so, we can maintain a physicality up to that level of consciousness, which has never been done before. So the whole existence is watching because they want to see how that is going to manifest, because it's never happened before.
Yes. And I'm just thinking, I'm telling my kids, I say, oh, don't worry, I'm going to turn at least 130. So I think with that evolution, we're also going to stay longer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can give you information that are very, how do you say, very sci-fi. But from what I know, the information that I know, that I gather, the operating system, Earth and human being can be lived up to 5,000 years. So we can stay up to 5,000 years old, which is for the soul is a blink of an eye. It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal, you know.
Yes. Well, the time is anyway difficult to grasp. I mean, everything is in a circular motion anyway. And I tend to also say to myself that people that you think are in the maybe lower frequency, lower energies, they might have been in the past in another life very, very high consciousness. So it's all
Absolutely.
some,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. That's why it's important not to judge anything, because you don't know. If you
yeah,
want to judge, you can judge only when you have the whole picture of the journey of that specific soul, which means you have to know everything from the very first beginning when it was conceived from source until now. Then maybe you can judge what is doing and why is doing.
yeah,
Otherwise, with your linear thinking, you cannot judge. It's impossible. It's
exactly.
very silly to judge. So just observe and love it unconditionally.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I love talking to you. I could talk to you all day.
Me too. Thank you.
Is there anything you would like to add, um, that you feel is coming through you more?
Yes, we just have to really align with our soul. This is the only way, not the only way, but the best way to pass through this intense moment ahead of us, and also right now, is to really align with the voice of our soul, align with our joy, and so step into neutrality. These are the most important thing. But if we do that, if we manage to do that, the transition from the old world to the new one is going to be uh, breathtaking, beautiful, orgasmic.
Mhm, mhm,
But it is challenging because we are dealing with 10,000 years of programming.
mhm.
So we need to stay humble and just take one moment at a time. And when it feels overwhelming, the situation, we just need to be able to just become the observer,
Mhm.
because we are the creator, we are the created, and
Mhm.
we are the observer that observe the creator and the created. Right,
Mhm.
that's the
Yes.
trilogy right there. So
Yes.
in those moments of extreme intensity, if we can manage to just become the observer and observe it and let it be, without getting lost into it, that's the way to pass through. But it is a great challenge that we sign for,
Yeah.
and that tells us how amazing, powerful we are. Because if we were not so powerful, we would not be accepted in this kind of curriculum.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to trust that inside ourselves there is all that is needed to pass through these times and even more.
Yeah. I would I would say amen to that. And just keep taking good care of ourselves.
Absolutely, of course, yes.
Yes, yes. It's really self-care is really, really important in these days. Mm,
Sure.
yes, yes. All right. Where can people find you?
Um, okay, so for the OPPT, we have a website called noieiosono.com.
Mm-hmm.
I can give you the spelling. Is
Mm-hmm.
NOIEIOSONO.com.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
your son. For my personal work as a musician is soundsofoneness.com. And
Mm-hmm.
then when you tap into those website, you can reach my email and many other information, and you can see my photography. You can see many other things, my blog and my Facebook, whatever. So it's or in my YouTube channel, you just put my name, Marco Missinato, it will come up huge amount
Great.
of material. So
Great. Great. I will put it below the video so people can
okay,
access it. All righty.
okay,
Thank you so much for coming here with me.
thank
I
you.
hope you visit again.
Oh,
And
anytime, sure, of course. This
yes,
is very important because this
mm,
sharing can be. Can be somehow a support to those that are in line, in resonance with what we share. So that's what we are here for. That's the only thing that is relevant at this moment. It's
y-
just really
yes,
support.
share, support, and connect to each other.
Connect. Absolutely.
Yes, together we are powerful. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Much love.
And much love to you too. Talk to you soon.
Ciao, ciao.